Debow, what's up, my man?
How's it going, Corey?
I'm doing really good. Let's get into it. One of the more controversial fights, I'd say, of the entire second series of the road to the title.
I certainly feel so.
Before we get into it, though, let's talk about Zach Zane before the matchup, sizing him up in the house. What did you think of him as a competitor, and did you think he'd be a challenge?
For sure, I knew he was going to be a tough one to get by. I mean, I knew who he was before going into the house because he's one of the people that I had some knowledge on, hearing that he was going to be there, and I was like, that's a welterweight I'm going to have to deal with. I imagine that I'm going to end up fighting him in the second round, and round one didn't even pan out like it was supposed to, but I still ended up fighting him in the second round, and I'll give credit where credit's due. He's a tough guy. Like, in no way that I think is like, oh, I'm going to go out there and knock this guy out. Like, no, he's tough. He's fucking hard-headed for sure.
Yeah, well, let's get into it, my man. You get to strike first in round one. Talk to me through this first strike.
Man, I take it back to when what Donovan told me back in the very beginning is like, as long as you stay accurate as possible and power comes later, and I've been slowly building my power up. Like, I know that for some people watching it there, they even some of the people in the stands said that it didn't look like I hit him that hard, but man, after that fight, my hand was swollen to the point I couldn't hold a pencil. I know I was hitting him hard as shit. He's got a lot of combat experience and he knows how to take a shot. And despite the flinches, I still hit him hard. There wasn't a time where I think if you just take our shots one for one throughout the whole thing, other than the last one where I got pushed out the box, then I think I ate every shot better than he did. And I know one of your co-hosts' opinions is like, well, he took 3 shots in a row unanswered and he just ate him. He shouldn't have had to. That's his fault. You can't get no matter how tough he is, you can't accredit him for making mistakes.
So the first one, the first one is definitely more egregious than the second one here. You do see a slight movement on the second. What are you thinking, man, about the opportunity to hit him 3 times in one round?
Sorry, cut out.
Oh, I was just saying, what do you think about having the opportunity to hit him 3 times in one round? What are you thinking?
That blew my mind. I was genuinely getting frustrated because no one had ever flinched in a match with me before. Everyone had I give my chin in a way that a lot of people don't. They try to roll with it, whatnot. I just stand there and let you have it. So when you don't give even if it's not on purpose, it's like if I didn't get the same respect, I was getting mad.
Mm-hmm. You seem like your intensity level is actually coming down from, your debut. Is that just because the nerves are settling a bit? Was it the nerves that kind of got you?
I think I'm just falling into a level of comfort up there. It's instead of just tunnel visioning and just being so wired with adrenaline that I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing, I'm more at home. I can pace myself, look around, be more aware of my surroundings, and understand what's going on as opposed to just taking turns slapping this guy.
Yeah. Talk to me about this one. So he's going right on 2.
Yeah. He swings fast. And that's one thing that caught me off guard a little bit, because I don't like watching their windup. I look at the hand once and then it's just I let my eyes gloss over and you look at the boxer's tee so you can get it out of your peripherals. And I was surprised by his speed, but the thing that surprised me the most was the lack of power. And now after watching it back, because this is my first time seeing it since it happened. That first one was y'all had said, it was pretty blatantly in my forehead and eye, and that's probably why it didn't hurt as much. Is if you get hit on the chin, I'll get hit in the eye or in the neck all day long over getting hit on the chin.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that take before.
Oh yeah, dude, I'd rather you club me is in the sense of misplacement as opposed to leading with the heel of the hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. That one there seemed to be off the mark a little bit too. You seem to hit much more fingertips.
Yeah, I was
in the second round.
I was really worried about not fouling, man. Because I clubbed Manny twice. And then after that fight, they had changed the rule to 2 offensive fouls and you get DQ'd. So I was just trying to perform as clean as possible.
Mm-hmm. So Zach's come second time. He's changed it up to a right on 3 this time. Mm-hmm. Were you cognitive of that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it matters. Some people like going on 1, 2, and 3. It's I've wanted to switch mine up. In my first fight, I've gone on 2, and then I've gone on 3 and whatnot, and I've been working on my going on 1, but I don't think it bothers me. Like, it might bother some other people, like the wind up gets in their head and whatnot, because especially after the first one, because I'm one of the people, like, once you land one on me, I'm like, all right, that's all he's got. Now I have a bar of where you got a threshold that you have to cross if you're going to even like knock me down, and it wasn't being reached.
Yeah, going into round 3, where do you think you are on the scorecard?
Dude, I thought I was up. That's like, I genuinely thought that I was like, I have done nothing wrong, and they're like, oh, he ate the shots well, which he did, but like, even when the one that they posted where Zach Zane ate this with ease, he leaned back, took a couple steps back, and then was like, all right, I love that shit. And the cotton flew out of his ear and shit. I was like, no, that was a good shot. Like, it wasn't weak. He's just a tough guy. And saying that I'm weak is just taken away from both of us. Like, yeah, I think I ate the shots better. I could give him round 3 for sure, just off of when he hit past impact, he like shoveled through and pushed me. So like, I lost my balance and fucking left the box, as opposed to the other rounds where I just kind of laughed it off. So I'd give me round 1 because he flinched twice, and then round 2, maybe biased, but I'd give that to me because my slap was just more significant and I think my reaction was better. But I'll give him round 3 just because I moved more. So in my mind, I was up 2 rounds and I hadn't no fouls. So I was like, I don't see how like I did anything wrong. And this is without even like all the people like, oh, he clubbed you. It's like, man, I didn't know that during the fight. Like, they weren't called. Like, just how you said during y'all's after slap show, the judges can't call. They can't decide anything. They can't factor in anything that wasn't called. So even if like there had been clubs that weren't called, you can't factor that into the score because it's not a thing right now. It didn't exist. So it's just I think being on the unfortunate end of something not being noticed. Like, he impressed 2 people, I impressed 1 person. Am I being a pussy about it? Maybe, but I'm just mad because, I thought I won. Like, when Manny beat me, which is my only other loss, I sat there and I was like, damn, he hit me harder. I lost. I got knocked down. He didn't. In this one, doesn't feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the lack there of a crowd, it was very silent. We could hear on TV very, very clearly your reaction. We could hear Manny's reaction in the background of a disbelief. Dude,
I was because it's slightly edited, so the match is a little shorter than it really is. But as we were walking up there, man, like, I dapped him up, and Zach seemed sad. Like, he was holding his head down, and he was just like hoping and just like mad at himself because he knew he made a couple mistakes. And I was smiling. I was like, dude, I'm about to get my hand raised. Nothing, didn't do anything wrong. The moment they raised red team, I was like, what the fuck? That's bullshit. And I just immediately got mad. Which maybe it's not the right thing to do, but like, look, like, when you've been fucking training and wanting something for this long and it doesn't go the way you want, you keep your emotions in check. It's not always easy.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, we've seen guys like Russell Rivera, we haven't seen him back since.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not out here throwing chairs. I might just call you a bitch.
Yeah. I don't think that didn't work out for Vern Cathy either, did it?
Yeah, no. Yeah. People like, just use your words, guys.
Like, let's talk about, if that was a 10-round match, do you think you guys would both be standing? Because I mean, there didn't really seem to be a whole lot of damage on either side. Both of you seem to be eating it pretty well.
The only damage that I had up to the next day was my cheekbone was a little bit swollen, like just a little, like I barely noticed it. It was more tender than anything. And then back, it was all superficial damage. Like, it was just a slight swelling of the cheek, and he had a couple of open marks from the impact of splitting of the cheek. But like, overall, we're fine. Like, take a couple headache pills and we could have got, like, I personally think that instead of 3-round fights, we should have 5-round fights, and then the championship should be 8 rounds. Gotcha. You'd have way more to play with. Because like, as opposed to people who just love getting knockouts, like seeing knockouts in the first 1 or 2 rounds, like, when the level of competition gets heightened, it's not just people who are good at throwing strikes, it's people who are good at absorbing them. So you're not going to get knockouts every time. Like, what do you do when there's examples of like what just happened with me and Zach, where it's like both people seemed virtually unaffected by the other person's strikes, but one ate more because of a couple. Like, we're gonna have to get better in calling decisions.
Yeah. What would you think about a potential rule change where if your opponent flinches, that the striker could either elect to strike again or have 1 point minus
Oh
off
yeah,
the other guy? What
that's
do you think
something.
about that?
That's something I was able to talk about to at least like Jason Herzog and Jeff and whatnot afterwards, in theory of maybe being something that could be implemented. Because in a case of like me, like, I don't think you're knocking me out. And if everyone who's thought they were going to knock me out wasn't able to do it, and I don't particularly knock people out myself. Like, but in the case of going against someone like me, and I don't think I'm putting them to sleep, why wouldn't I take the round and fight more efficiently? It's just like in the UFC when someone is getting outstruck. What do? They go for that minute and a half of control time so they can just take the round.
No, I hear you. What's next for you? Where do you want to go, and kind of any potential opponents you think would make a good matchup for you?
Man, honestly, the only people I think that makes sense is someone like Blackburn or Waylon Frost, or a rematch with Zach Zane after he takes care of whatever he's got to take care of at Power Slap 6. I mean, I still got the best chin in the business, and everyone I fought's a fucking dog. You're not gonna fucking knock me out, and the belt's in my future. I don't care what anyone says. I'm getting better every time.
Awesome, my man. Appreciate you joining me. Exciting as always to see you up there. I'm sure this is not the last we'll see of you. So keep on training hard, build up that power, and maybe we'll get a KO from you next time.
Oh, it's happening. I don't care who it is.
Awesome, man. Take care. Much love.
Thanks, Corey.